In this session, we are going to discuss the external sources of finance. In the last class, we had discussed the various internal sources of finance. In this session, let us move on to external sources. External sources of finance refer to money that comes from outside a business. The various external sources of finance can be classified as shown: ownership capital and debt capital. Under ownership capital, we have equity shares and preference shares. Under debt capital, we are having various options like debentures, bank loan, loan from financial institutions, venture capital, bank overdraft, leasing, and factoring. Now, let us discuss each of these sources one by one. Coming to the first one, equity shares. Equity shares represent the owner's capital in the company. The holders of these shares are the real owners of the company. Equity shareholders are entitled to dividends after the claims of preference shareholders are satisfied. The dividend paid to the equity shareholders will be generally high as they undertake a high risk. In the event of winding up of the company, equity shareholders can exercise their claim on assets after the claims of preference shareholders has been met. The equity share capital cannot be redeemed during the life of the company. The equity shareholders, being the real owners, are given the voting rights to control the working of the company. Each equity share carries one vote and a shareholder has votes equal to the number of shares held by him. The board of directors, or in short we call them BOD, is elected by these shareholders. The directors of the company are appointed by the equity shareholders in the annual general meeting of the company. Equity shareholders are also given preemptive right, that is, right shares. Their liability is limited to the unpaid value of the shares held by them. When we look at equity shares, we can identify various merits associated with it. Let us discuss the various merits of issuing equity shares. Firstly, equity shares do not create any obligation to pay a fixed rate of dividend. Dividend is paid only when the company earns sufficient divisible profits. Equity shares can be issued without creating any charge on the assets of the company. It is a permanent source of finance as it has to be repaid only on the winding up of the company. Equity shares are transferable. In other words, the shareholders can dispose the shares in the stock exchange whenever they need money. It helps the holders to participate in the management of the company through voting rights. In case of profits, equity shareholders are the real gainers by way of increased dividends and appreciation in the value of shares. After looking into various merits of equity shares, we need to even look at the demerits of issuing equity shares. Because when a company has to opt among the various sources of finance, it has to look into the various pros and cons of each source. Hence, we will discuss even the demerits associated with equity shares. So the main demerit here is if only equity shares are issued, the company cannot take the benefit of trading on equity. The cost of equity shares is higher because the dividends paid to them are not tax deductible, and also the flotation cost of such issues are higher. Investors find equity shares riskier because of uncertain dividend payments and capital repayment. The issue of new equity shares reduces the earning per share of the existing shareholders until and unless the profits are proportionately increased. The issue of new equity shares also reduces the ownership and control of existing shareholders. During prosperous periods, the company has to pay higher dividends, which will lead to increase in the market value of shares and speculation. As equity share capital cannot be redeemed during the life of the company, it increases the risk of overcapitalization. Lastly, investors who desire to invest in safe securities with a fixed income have no attraction for such shares. By keeping in mind the various merits and demerits of equity shares, the firm has to decide whether to go for the issue of equity shares or not. Coming to the next external source, preference shares. As the name suggests, these are the shares with preferential rights. These shares enjoy preference, that is priority, in two cases as compared to other types of shares. The first one is preference is with regard to the payment of dividend. Whenever the company has distributable profits, the dividend is first paid to the preference shareholders. Other shareholders are paid dividend only out of the remaining profits, if any. The second preference is with regard to the repayment of the capital at the time of winding up of the company. After paying the outside creditors, preference share capital is to be repaid before repaying the equity share capital. Unlike equity shares, preference shares do not enjoy voting rights and hence they cannot participate in the management of the firm. However, they can vote if their own interests are affected. A fixed rate of dividend is paid on preference share capital. There are various types of preference shares. Let us see one by one. The first one is cumulative and non-cumulative preference shares. Cumulative preference shares enjoy the right to recover arrears of dividend. That is, they have a right to claim dividend for those years also for which there are no profits. Whenever there are divisible profits, these shares are paid dividends for all the years in which dividend could not be declared. Coming to the non-cumulative preference shares, the holders of these shares have no claim for the arrears of dividend. They are paid a dividend if there are sufficient profits in that particular year. They cannot claim dividends for the years when there were no sufficient profits in subsequent years. The next type of preference shares here are redeemable and irredeemable preference shares. Redeemable preference shares are the shares which can be redeemed during the life of the company, that is, after the stipulated period. These shares are issued for a fixed period. After the fixed period, these shares are to be repaid by the company either out of the divisible profits or out of the fresh issue of shares. Certain conditions are provided by the Companies Act which are to be fulfilled while redeeming the preference share capital. Coming to the irredeemable preference shares. The preference shares which need not be redeemed till the liquidation of the company are called irredeemable preference shares. It may be noted that currently no company can issue irredeemable preference shares. Then coming to the next type of preference share, that is participating and non-participating preference shares. The holders of participating preference share participate in the surplus profits of the company apart from the fixed rate of dividend. After paying fixed dividend to these shareholders, equity shareholders are paid. If any surplus remains after payment of dividend to equity shareholders, the participating preference shareholders participate in this surplus along with the equity shareholders as per the Articles of Association. Whereas non-participating preference shares are the shares which do not participate in the surplus. They are entitled only to a fixed rate of dividend. The last classification is convertible and non-convertible preference shares. The holders of convertible preference shares are given the right to convert their holdings into equity shares after the specified period. The right of conversion is to be authorized by the Articles of Association. Whereas the holders of non-convertible preference shares cannot convert their holdings into equity shares after the end of the stipulated period. These are the various types of preference shares which we can see. Now let us analyze the various benefits or merits associated with preference shares. Preference shares provide a long-term capital for the company. It earns a fixed rate of dividend for the investor. There is leverage, that is trading on equity benefit, as it bears a fixed charge. Redeemable preference shares can be redeemed after a specified period out of the surplus funds available with the company. Issue of preference shares do not create any specific charge on the assets of the company. Preference shares provide preferential rights with regard to payment of dividends and repayment of capital at the time of liquidation of the company. Preference shares, although carry no voting rights, but the preference shareholders can vote on matters directly affecting their rights. Lastly, the issue of preference shares do not result into dilution of earning per share and control. Now let us see the various demerits of preference shares. Firstly, it is expensive source of finance as compared to debt because the rate of dividend paid on preference shares will be higher than the interest paid on debt. Secondly, cumulative preference shares become a permanent burden so far as the payment of dividend is concerned. The next being, preference dividend is not tax deductible. Although there is no legal obligation on the company to pay dividend on preference shares, but frequent delays or non-payment adversely affect the creditworthiness of the firm. By keeping all these merits and demerits associated with preference shares, the firm has to decide whether to issue preference shares or not. Now coming to the next external source of finance, that is debentures. Debentures, also called as creditorship securities or debt capital, represent debentures and bonds. The difference between a debenture and a bond is that bonds are secured by tangible physical assets of the company and debentures are secured only by the general creditworthiness of the company. This distinction is not identified in India and hence the term debentures include even the bonds. Debentures are acknowledgement of debt. These are the loans borrowed by the company. It is a document under the company's seal which provides for the repayment of a principal amount along with an interest at a fixed rate at regular intervals. It is secured by creating a fixed or floating charge on the company's assets or property. As these are secured by creating charge, they are paid on priority in comparison to all other creditors. There are different types of debentures which can be issued. Let us discuss each of this one by one. The first one is unsecured debentures. These are also called as simple or naked debentures. These debentures are not given any security on the assets of the company. They are treated at par with other unsecured creditors. They enjoy no priority. The next one being secured debentures. These are also called as mortgaged debentures. These debentures are given security by way of creating a fixed or floating charge on the assets of the company. In case of default, in the payment of the interest amount and repayment of the principal amount, the debenture holders can sell the assets and satisfy their claims. The next being registered debentures. In case of these debentures, the name of the debenture holder is entered in the register of debenture holders maintained by the company. The registered debenture holder can transfer his interest only through a transfer deed signed by the transferor and the transferee, and same is sent to the company. The company, on receipt of such deed or form, cancels the name of the transferor from the register and enters the name of the transferee. The interest is paid to the person whose name appears in the register. The next one being bearer debentures. Unlike registered debentures, these debentures can be easily transferred by mere delivery. The interest coupons are attached to the debentures. Any person who purchases these debentures for a consideration and in good faith becomes the lawful holder of the debentures. The next one being redeemable debentures. These are the debentures which are to be repaid at the end of the specified period. Interest on the debentures is paid periodically and the principal amount is repaid on the expiry of the stipulated period specified at the time of their issue. Next, irredeemable debentures. These are the debentures which are not to be redeemed during the life of the company. They are redeemed either on the winding up of the company or on default by the company. The last classification is convertible debentures and non-convertible debentures. Coming to the first one here, convertible debentures. These are the debentures which can be converted into equity shares on the expiry of the stipulated period. In case of debentures issued at discount, debentures can be converted either into the equivalent number of shares credited as paid up in proportion to the cash originally paid on the nominal value of debentures, or into the proportionately reduced number of fully paid up shares. The last one here being non-convertible debentures. These are the debentures which cannot be converted into equity shares on the expiry of the stipulated period. Now, let us discuss the various merits and demerits associated with debentures. Coming to the merits, debentures provides for long-term financing and is a cheaper source of finance as the interest rate payable will be usually lower than the rate of dividend on shares. The interest paid on debentures is a tax deductible expense. Hence, it reduces the size of the taxable profits, which in turn reduces the tax liability. The next, it does not result into dilution of control as the holders will not be having the voting rights. A company can take the benefit of trading on equity and thereby increase its earnings per share. Interest paid on debentures is fixed and known to the company at the time of their issue. This helps the management to plan for wiser investments. Debentures provides flexibility in the capital structure as the same can be redeemed as and when the company has surplus funds. Debentures provide a fixed, regular and stable source of income to its investors. Even during recession, capital can be raised through issue of debentures. Now, looking after the merits, let us look at the demerits of debentures. Issue of debentures increases the financial risk of the company. The fixed interest charges and repayment principal amount on maturity are legal obligations of the company which are to be paid even when there are no profits. A company cannot raise further loans against the security of the assets already mortgaged to debenture holders. Cost of raising finance through debentures is also high due to high stamp duty. Debentures do not carry any voting rights and hence its holders do not have any control on the management of the company. After taking into consideration the various merits and demerits of debentures, the company has to decide whether to issue debentures or look at other source of finance. The next external source of finance is loan from banks. The primary role of commercial banks is to cater to the short-term and long-term needs of the industries. The banks provide long-term loans for the expansion or setting up of new units and long-term working capital. Their repayment is generally scheduled over a long period of time. Bank provides loan for expansion or setting up of new units and also long-term working capital. There is a concept called bridge finance in case of loan from banks. Bridge finance refers to the loan taken by a company, normally from commercial banks, for a short period because of pending disbursement of loans sanctioned by the financial institutions. Generally, the interest on bridge finance is higher as compared to term loans. So, in today's session, we discussed four important external sources of finance. The first one being equity shares, the second preference shares, the third being the debentures, and the last one loan from banks. In the next session, we shall discuss the remaining external sources of finance. For further studies, you may refer these books. Thank you.